All right, our next lesson here is 7.6, double angle identities. Let's get into it right here. Let's say we had the sine of the sum of two angles, but those two angles were actually the same angle. So like the sine of theta plus theta. Then we get sine of the first angle, sine theta, times cosine of the other angle, theta. And I'm using my sum formula for sine, plus the sine of the other angle, theta, times the cosine of the first angle, which is also theta. Okay, well the sine of theta plus theta is the sine of 2 theta, that's where the double angle comes in. And then we get sine of theta cosine theta plus sine of theta cosine theta, which is 2 sine theta cosine theta. Okay, so that is the double angle identity or formula for sine 2 theta. Sticking with that same theme here, let's come up with a double angle identity for cosine. So the cosine of theta plus theta gives me cosine theta times cosine of theta minus, cosine is a little weird, so plus, that's minus sine of theta times sine of theta. Right. Cosine of theta plus theta is cosine of 2 theta. Cosine theta times cosine theta is cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay, so it's a double angle identity for cosine. Now you see this also written in alternate forms. Sometimes it's beneficial for us to not have cosine and sine in the same equation. Maybe we just want sine or just want cosine. So I can rewrite this as cosine of 2 theta equals, let's change cosine squared to 1 minus sine squared, Pythagorean identity. Minus sine squared theta, which gives us 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. So depending on the information given in the problem, it might be beneficial to only have an equation with sine and not cosine. Okay. Sticking with that, we can also rewrite this so we only have cosine. So let's change sine squared to 1 minus cosine using a Pythagorean identity again. So cosine of 2 theta is equal to cosine squared theta minus, parentheses here, quantity, sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared. Cosine of 2 theta equals, see, cosine squared minus negative cosine squared. Minus negative cosine squared is plus cosine squared. Cosine squared plus cosine squared is 2 cosine squared. Theta minus 1. And there's a third way to do the double angle for cosine. So there's 1, 2, 3 ways to write double angle for cosine. All right, next problem here. We're going to find the sine of 2 theta and the cosine of 2 theta given sine of theta is 3/5 and theta is between pi over 2 and pi. Might have noticed before I did this problem, I erased the board and accidentally erased the board with this eraser and it got a little dirty. And it's a little unfortunate since I spent a lot of time the other day cleaning the whiteboard. So, sorry. But, let's go. Sine of 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta times cosine theta. We've been given sine theta 3/5. 2 times 3/5 times cosine of theta. We don't know cosine theta, but we've given the sine of theta. We know what quadrant it's in, so you have to draw your reference triangle. Theta is between pi over 2 and pi. Here's pi over 2, here's pi. And there we are. Sine of theta, opposite over hypotenuse, opposite over hypotenuse, opposite over hypotenuse. Ooh, 3, 4, 5, you know it. 3, 4, 5, left 4. Like, cosine of theta, adjacent over hypotenuse, negative 4/5. 2 times 3 times negative 4, let's see, negative 24 over 25. And there we are. Okay. Let's do, I'll erase this and then we'll do cosine. Okay, cosine of 2 theta. We have 3 different double angle formulas for cosine. Since we've been given sine, we've already been given sine, you might think, okay, let's just go ahead and use 1 minus 2 sine squared theta, because I don't need cosine for that, which is good. Since we already did sine of 2 theta, we had to find out cosine anyway, so it's really preference. Let's go ahead and do it both ways quickly. So let's go, cosine 2 theta is 1 minus sine squared theta. So 1 minus, sine squared means sine of theta squared. 1 minus, sine of theta is 3/5 squared. 1 minus 9 over 25, which equals, we'll see 25 over 25 minus 9 over 25, and we get 16. 16 over 25. Yeah, later, go away. 16 over 25. And let's pause and we'll do the other one. I was just checking to see if you were paying attention, and you were, because you let me know that I made a mistake right here. This is 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. 1 minus 2 times sine squared theta times 2 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. 25 minus 18, which gives us 7 over 25. All right, good. Now we'll pause and come back and do it using another cosine form. Okay, so we could do, it's a matter of preference. You can use either formula, either one will work, all 3. Let's try this one since we know cosine and sine, because we had to draw a triangle before. Cosine squared, which is cosine theta squared, minus sine theta squared. Cosine of theta, negative 4/5 squared, minus sine 3/5 squared. 16 over 25 minus 9 over 25, and you get 7 over 25 again. Same answer. So it's up to you. I kind of like this one better because you didn't have to do a common denominator, but it's up to you. We also have a double angle formula for tangent, so I'll pause the video and write that down right now. And we're going to do this problem. Example 2, given sine of theta is 5 over 13, and theta is between 0 and pi over 2, find the tangent of 2 theta. Okay. There are a couple ways to do this problem. If you wanted to, you could find the sine of 2 theta and the cosine of 2 theta, and tangent is the sine over the cosine, or you just go ahead and use this equation. Let's go tangent of 2 theta. It's 2 tangent theta, and well, I don't have tangent theta. To draw a reference triangle. Theta is between 0 and pi over 2, first quadrant. Sine of theta is 5/13. 5/13. Special right triangle, 5, 12, 13. Good. Tangent, opposite over adjacent, 5/12. So tangent of 2 theta is going to be 2 times the tangent of theta, which is 5/12, over 1 minus tangent theta squared, 5/12 squared. Let's see, 2 over 12, that's cancels. It's 5 over 6, so 5, 6, all over 1 minus square, 25 over 144. Okay. All right, let's go here. 5, 6 over, let's see, this is 144 over 144. 144 minus 25 is 119 over 144. Okay. Let's go over here, erase this triangle. We don't need this triangle anymore. Fraction divided by fraction, keep the numerator, multiply by the reciprocal, 144 over 119. Okay, let's reduce while we can right now, make this easier. 144 and 6, they're both divisible by 2. There's a 3 make this a 72. 5 over 3 times 72 over 119. Okay, since I've already done this problem, I know that 3 goes into 72 24 times. 5 times 24 over 1 times 119. And you get 120 over 119.